What's up, family? It's your boy, Gerard. Now, it's been a minute since I posted a video. Life has been going well, but long story short, I'm back. I want to start making some more reaction videos. So if you are watching this, please give me some recommendations of more videos you would like to watch. I want to do more anime, more video game reactions, trailers, whatever it is, just more reactions in general. But to the point of this video. To Be Hero X is an anime that I've been watching lately, and I'm not gonna lie, it's fire. It's like a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. And if you're here, then you've been watching it as well. So welcome. I wanted to go over a particular hero that I've been fascinated with called X. They've showed him a few times now, and his powers are complicated. And today I wanted to deep dive on what the hell is his powers? Okay. Now I found a video that came out 2 years ago. Crazy. 2 years ago. After watching that last episode, you probably hear because you've seen that last episode and you're like, what? I wanted to go over his powers and try to decipher it as best as we possibly can until they explain it to us themselves. We're going to go through it. So we're going to watch this whole video and we're going to play it back and we're going to slow it down. And then we're going to break it down scene by scene, frame by frame, and figure this crap out because I gotta know how this guy's powers are absolutely OP. Okay, done. What just happened? Nobody knows. That's basically the story of his powers. So today we're gonna figure this out. All right. So let's just hop right into it. Please make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys want to watch. And if there's anything that you've noticed that I didn't notice, definitely bring it up because I want to solve this, okay? And I also want to talk about a few things afterwards because after that last episode, we kind of saw where it led up, and we'll play around with it. Maybe I'll make another video discussing that entirely. All right, so let's just hop into it, okay? This video is 2 years old. Okay, we know about this part. Now, let me pause it here. So now the interesting thing about this is in the episode, we already know that while this is going on, the last episode is currently happening at this very moment. So this is the part where, the who has the deed, he's running out, all that's going on. This is where he got caught. You remember that. Now, I also want to point out it's in 3D versus the episode, which was in animation. Okay. I'm not going to say in my personal opinions yet. We're going to go over that when we rewatch it. Okay. This came out 2 years ago. It's crazy. I hope this doesn't get copyrighted. It's my first time doing this legit, so I hope I'm not doing it wrong. Okay. Everything just happens so fast, right? Okay. Ain't never seen so And this is what we saw in the episode, right? I'm not gonna lie, this guy has so much sauce, bro. Hands in his pocket, just snapping away, just moving with a smirk. Man's just built to ore farm, bro. Definitely got the Piccolo handbook on ore farming. Man, there are so many hints on this. These guys are tough, bro. I'm not gonna lie, that power is pretty OP too. I mean, let's be honest. Who's really beating that many clones and they can just keep coming back? Kind of reminds me of that one hero from My Hero. I forgot his name. It was called Twice. Okay. Definitely teleported, that's for sure. Dumped them in the ocean or something. It's all happened so fast. Alright. Maybe that's his wife saying, I don't like working overtime. That's where he got that. I mean, is it really a surprise why this dog got number 8? Come on, we all love dogs. And he's the same voice actor as Piccolo and All Might. Come on, man. Alright, there's a few things we're gonna go over now. We're gonna rewatch it in slow motion, the slowest motion, because the frames are super important. Okay. He doesn't even go to the tower. That's how you know you. Stop. All right. So now we're gonna start the deep dive. Okay. So we're gonna go right into where he first starts. All right. So they're hinting here at X. Right. We're gonna turn this speed all the way down. All the way down, okay? Because it happens so quick, man. We're gonna mute it because honestly, we don't need the sound. All right, so let's go ahead to the part where he starts to fight. All right. So right here, this part's important. All right, so let's take a look at this. So now he's here, snaps his fingers. Automatically, you can see he's a different person. So what this tells me that there's two versions of him. Either there's one version of him and he's just teleporting to his other reality, so maybe he has his own pocket dimension, or there are two versions of him. Why I think there are two versions of him versus one just kind of transitioning back and forth is because the demeanor, the hair color, or, I don't know if this is just how he feels inside that makes him feel nonchalant and cool. But what I'm going with two different versions of him. Because remember in that one episode with Smile, he said, bring him out. right? And he had to been talking about this guy because he's cool, always smirking, very calm, collected, control. So maybe he has two different versions of himself, right? That's what I'm thinking. So now as you can see, it's animated. So now look at this part right here. So he swings. Now we know this guy gets put into a plank of wood. But let's look at the background. It says stop violence. Dead end. And then you see that little sign right there, meaning, you can't go past that. So this is telling me that when he brings people to his alternate world, he can set the rules on what he wants you to do, right? So immediately he's all the way at the end of the alley. So I think he can't make it there in time. So it seems like he created a rule, kind of like Queen's ability, where you have to be a certain vicinity, and then she can set rules, and then you have to obey those rules, like stop moving, and then all of a sudden you can't move. But this seems like he has a whole world instead of just a little domain, right? So it says stop violence, because clearly he's trying to hit this dog. And look what happens. Stop violence. Look at the next frame, right? Then all of a sudden, boom. So what this tells me right here, so immediately when he snapped, he took that man into his dimension, set a rule. Now, in order to stop the violence, it pulled him into that dimension and stopped that action completely in our reality. There's two different realities I'm seeing here. Okay? So that was one hint there. So now we know he can set rules in his dimensions. Then he catches it and he's back to our reality. So it looks like he didn't even bring that other version of X out. He just took that person and brought him into his reality and just wanted to stop whatever action was. So it seems like there's two timelines, two different dimensions happening at the same time. And then when he snapped his fingers, instead of it being in our reality, it went to the second reality with rules and conditions saying no violence. So it seems like at the time of violence would have happened if he didn't interfere here, but here he put rules to say no violence, so it stopped it. And that's probably why in our time he just transported from here to here, and it stops it in our time. That's what I'm thinking. See, it's very complicated, but let's break it down. Let's go deep in this. Okay, so now we know if that happens. Now he's trapped in there, right? In our time, it's a blink of an eye, right? Which kind of explains everything. So now let's go back. So now we know these guys come out here. Okay. So now this part's interesting as well. Kind of random that they all just decided, hey, let's beat this guy up. Like, they don't even know if he was involved. They just saw him, right? Damn, this guy got so many clones, bro. All right, so now this is the part where it gets so detailed, bro. All right, so now this is the part that's interesting. So now we know he's caught off guard, right? Now, boom. So now, as you can see, remember how I said there was two different dimensions happening at the same time? One with the black-haired X. Dimension 2 with our X. Now it seems like all he did was take this one guy and send him to the second dimension, which is why he's still in this action, right? And you see he's smirking. So the same thing is happening, and just like, different timelines, the same thing is occurring at the same time, but with different rules in this dimension versus this dimension, is what I'm noticing. So now, look, he snaps into that dimension. Now we went back to dimension 1. And if you look in the background, he's on the wall. He's in dimension 2 right now, trapped in dimension 2. Okay? Now check this out. Now, this is different than what we've seen before. In the past, when it's a one-on-one, it just, you snap, you're done, right? You don't know what happened. But what I'm noticing is that they actually made him dodge, right? So it seems like there's a little time period between his snaps where he actually has to dodge attacks, right? So I guess multiple enemies or maybe continuous attacks might be something to make him focus. So now, boom, he has the dodge. He has the dodge. Now here goes the snap. Now look at the guy. Look at X. The second dimension now. He took this guy, and you see how the effect is around him? He's focused on him only. Boom. Now we went back to our dimension. He's on the wall. Okay. So now are they stuck in time at that point? Just like that? Possibly. It seems like it. So now here comes this guy's attack. He has to snap again. So now he realized I need both of my hands, right? He tosses this up. Pretty cool. We're introducing the number X hero. Okay. Let's go forward a little bit. All right. And now here we go. Now this is the difference now. So before he was snapping them into his dimension. Now what I'm noticing, it seems like he's bringing his alternate dimension self out. And it looks like the rest of the dimension. So look, let me see. Maybe he brought everybody into it. Yeah, he brought everybody into that dimension now. Okay. Now they're glitching. Not sure what this means. Maybe this just means they're transitioning into his world. All right, now look at this part. So I noticed that, so now it seems like everybody got teleported into his world, not just one person. Now look at the background, okay? Pay attention to this, because this is going to pop up again later. Okay, so now it seems like he's very fast. You see the little shadow, the little silhouettes moving. They're glitching. He seems to be too fast for them in this dimension. You see the background, it just seems like everything is moving very fast. And he's able to see everything that's going on. All right? But the interesting thing is, you know, they're not just stuck in time. So maybe in our reality, they're kind of stuck, but maybe since he brought all of them in, they're continuously moving now. That's the part that's kind of confusing. Maybe he just wanted to stop them. But maybe if they're in there with him at the same time, maybe there's some action going on, right? Because we saw them moving along the paint that last time. All right. Very complicated powers, but this is really cool. All right, they're glitching, so which means I think they're about to see. See, I noticed every time they glitch, the dimension changes. You saw that again? They glitched, and then now all of a sudden we're back in our dimension. Okay, so now the can fell. So in that whole scene where he's dodging, the can just hit the floor. All right. And now this is them. So now in reality one, this is how it looks, right? Now it seems like he can see what's going on, but we saw that second dimension where they're moving in that alternate dimension, but we can't see that part. We can see them. So it looks like it transitions to art world or graffiti world in this dimension. All right. So now everything looks super slow, but we can see how fast it looks from his perspective. Now they're on the wall. All right. So his dimension definitely, it's in the same world as ours, but at the same time, the rules seem to be different there. See how he's walking on the wall now in our dimension, but in his dimension, it might not be on the wall. Yeah, see? See, they glitched. And now I don't even know what dimension this is, but it looks like a whole bunch of frames in the background. So I don't know, maybe he can choose where he wants to go. Maybe that's how he can teleport. I don't know what this dimension is right here. Oh, did you peep that? Let's go back a little bit. Did you see that? The arrows. There's arrows in the back. So I wonder if this is... Oh, look, the arrows are going in the opposite direction of where these guys are coming from. So that's probably why they're so slow. So he's slowing them down in this dimension, which is probably why those arrows are there. So he set rules, right? I guess, or maybe it's just this specific dimension, but it seems like everybody's slower than him in this dimension. which makes sense. Okay. Now he touches the floor. Okay, so it seems like he has to touch the floor. Okay, now what is he doing here? There's more arrows. Ah, he changed the rules. Let's go back right there. So they're all okay. So as you know, in Dimension A, they were on the wall here, right? So right now, in the other dimension, they're on the wall. We saw them walk on the sidewalk. They're on the wall. Now it seems like he touches the wall. Yeah, now they fall off of the wall onto the floor. So it seems like he changed the rules. Then it snaps. Now we're back in our dimension, which makes sense because now up is up and down is down again, right? Then he has to dodge. Boom. He sent him into that dimension. But the difference in this one is this guy's still moving. And he came out of that dimension. So I don't understand that part, but whatever, right? We can tell he can put you in or out the dimension. I'm not sure what the difference is as far as, oh, you know what? I think I figured it out. Maybe when he was in the black hair and he snapped him into that picture, they couldn't move because that dimension of X with the white hair was still there. But maybe if that dimension of X is outside, maybe they can still move and come out because he's not there. I don't know. It's complicated, but we're trying. So he snaps. Now look, another arrow, but now he changed the rules onto the wall. So now the wall is the floor in this dimension, which is probably why these guys look, they're all off balance, grabbing the floor because it makes no sense. So now they're walking on the wall. Okay. So now he jumps off the wall onto the floor, snaps his fingers. Yep. Looks like he trapped those guys in that other dimension. Okay. Look at the sauce on this man. All right, now we're back in his dimension. Okay. Not really sure what happened here, but it looks like maybe he changed the rules to that plank of wood. Maybe it's heavier in that dimension because there's the rules, I guess. But we definitely know he can set rules in his dimension. And look at that. Now he snaps them. Yeah, okay, so now that's the part that is kind of confusing, but we do know in our world, it seems the floor is the floor, but in his world, the wall is the floor. Since they just fell on the floor in Dimension 1, he teleported them to Dimension 2, which automatically gravitated them to the wall. Okay. Complicated, but very cool. All right, now the car's coming. That's a dope shot right there. All right, now let's see what he does. Get ready to snap again. Man, my man is snapping. All right, so that's interesting. So he did the same thing to the number 8 hero last time, right? Dragon Boy. But look at this. Here goes some more arrows. Now he teleported them to that dimension and he set rules. Remember the first time it said no violence. Now this time it says no crossing. He was about to get hit by a car. So maybe it stops actions from hitting him based off of his rules. So he said no crossing. He wouldn't get hit by the car. So the car disappears because he set the rules on the car itself. But everybody else flew off the car. So it seems like he sent the car to the next to Dimension 2 with the rules that he can't cross that point. Now he teleports everybody to his world. Man, this is complicated. All right, they're glitching, so it looks like we had a transition switch. Yep, now he did the same thing. He grabbed the page. Damn. So he's warping reality, bro. He just made a sword out of the car. That's crazy. Now I wonder if he made the sword out of the car because it was metal, or could he just say, sword? Clearly, he's not even talking. He just thinks it and it happens. So he's God basically in this universe. Okay. So now this time, it looks like he's ready for the smoke. He got everybody in his dimension. Now let's see, how does he handle this? Oh, he stopped smiling. Now he disappeared. Oh, bro, look. He took him back to that dimension. Remember what it seems like they're in a tunnel. So I get, this is the dimension where he slows them down, right? No, see the arrows this time instead of going against them, it's coming towards. So maybe it's speeding their actions up and it's probably throwing them off balance. See, look at the background. It looks like it's space in the back of that. Oh, not tunnel. Yeah, but they're definitely on a floor, moving very fast. And it's going the opposite direction of where he's going. So that's going to bring them closer to him. Okay, so now we know there's a few different realities he's using consistently. Okay. Then I don't know if this is just an animation choice or is this another dimension? Because now we see three different versions of him. Is he moving extremely fast or is he teleporting? I don't know. Well, we know he was slowing them down. Okay. Yeah, they glitched. So now we're going to a different dimension again. Mm. So I think that little scene where everything turned white, let me rewind this real quick, guys. All right, right here. I think right here, because it looks like a snap. Yeah, right here, because look, a shadow. That looks like a snap to me, or maybe that's just a sword. And then they glitch. And then he basically went to another dimension while he did that slash. So it seems like he sped himself up and maybe stopped them from moving at all. It's very confusing, but I feel like we're getting a better idea of his powers at least until they perfectly explain it, simplify the hell out of it. All right. I wonder how these guys' power work. Is it the hat? Why they keeps coming back? Like, is it the hat that's summoning these guys or what? They're definitely making him work. So it seems like if it's multiple enemies, he has to put a little bit in. But if it's one on one, bro, you're not beating this guy. If it's one on one, I can't picture it. You can't beat him. So this is probably a good like counter to him somewhat. It's making him work, that's for sure. Damn, all these clones is crazy. Okay, so clearly this is way more than before. So what's he gonna do now? Right. All right, so now he has to snap. So you can definitely get to him, but you have to make him work. You have to get him before he can snap, clearly. He falls to the ground. All right, this is new. Now this seems like another dimension. So I don't know what infinity means. I'm not sure if it's on some Gojo shit where it's like too much information to understand, comprehend to everybody else except the user himself. Of course, he has white hair. See, everybody's not moving. So, okay, so it's infinite, right? So it seems like the universe, right, is infinite and it just doesn't stop. So I guess now he can choose where he wants to go because we know inside of that dimension, he can set the rules. So it seems like now that we know that both of Dimension A and both of Dimension B are moving in the same timeline, but with different rules, he brought them to this timeline and then brought them to a different location within timeline B, Dimension B, I should say, and then teleported them back to Dimension A, which seems to be on top of the roof. So he can teleport, essentially. Yep. And now look at that. The rules change, so they're falling. And look at the back. It says tonight at 7x. So I wonder if this is the same night as when Nice was replaced. I don't know. When they had that little TV show episode in the first one. All right, so they're all falling. Okay, so clearly he teleported them all to the sky, right? So that explains it, because it was daytime where we were. Now it's nighttime. So I don't understand this part. I'm not sure if we're hopping time at this point. I don't know. That part's very confusing, but it's clearly nighttime now. Man, these dudes just keep coming back, man. He's smirking, but I know it must be annoying. All right, he snaps. All right, so now look, take a look at this. So it makes me wonder if he has to touch certain objects or something in order to manipulate certain time. I don't know. Because look at this. He snaps his fingers. Only the building changed colors right there. So maybe he's bringing that whole building into his dimension now. And he separates the whole building pretty much. Deconstructs the building. So we already know he can change reality in there. Everybody's falling. He's standing on a piece of the building. Because we know he can't fly for some reason. Okay, now he snaps. And would you look at that? So now he teleported them in a different place in our dimension 1, which now appears to be in the ocean somewhere. Yep, he's outside the city. Okay. So he can definitely teleport you in between to different locations. So he's definitely on some Gojo stuff. That's for sure. Okay. So now this part's a little interesting. So he's standing on a piece of. No, he's not standing on anything. Maybe he was falling as well. Yeah, maybe he was falling as well. So that's why he teleported, because he can't fly. He was standing on a piece of an object. He teleports them to a different area, just like they were falling. Whenever he teleported them the first time, because they didn't have any place to stand on. He's falling too, but he's aware of where he's at, so he's chill. And then before he hits the water, snaps. Now he's back in his dimension, and it looks like, holy shit, it's like, I don't know, the universe, I guess. Which probably explains why he can teleport wherever he wants to. This dude's powers are this is crazy. I don't think you can beat this dude unless you're catching him in between snaps, man. So yeah, he's clearly in space, and now he has, oh yeah, that piece of rock, that the piece of the building he was standing on, because the last time we were in our dimension, the buildings were still there, and he was standing on a piece of the building in his dimension. It's some complex stuff. One of the guys was surviving by standing on one of the pieces. All right, so now, what's he doing here? He's reconstructing the building? Oh. So I wonder, I don't know, did he move? Did he actually teleport, or did he just go to the top of this building? I mean, clearly he's teleporting, right? Because he dropped him in the water. So now they're all trapped in his dimension. Well, some of them. Huh. Now we can tell why this power is very complex. It's cool though. It's very cool, but very complicated. So we understand that clearly there's two different dimensions. There's dimension 1, our dimension 2, the art dimension, or whatever you want to call it. And inside that art dimension, this X with the white hair is from that dimension. And he can bring him out or in, or he can send you to that dimension, or he can bring everybody into that dimension, and he can set rules within that dimension. So in our dimension, it doesn't seem like he has the ability to control. So if you had a shot to beat him, you would definitely have to keep him trapped in our dimension and keep him from snapping, right? Because we saw in the beginning portion when they were punching, he actually had to dodge. But whenever you brought him to his dimension, there's no chance in hell you're beating him in that dimension, right? There's no way you're beating him in that dimension. So now they're trapped in there. And when he set the rules, so it seems like, remember whenever he was about to get punched by Dragon Boy and he just tore the paper? So he must have set the rule of no violence. So I think if there isn't an object near you, it just turns into a piece of paper. So he either must have said no violence, or he must have said, you can't pass this point. So I guess if you try to pass that point, you just get stuck as if it's like an invisible piece of wall. And you're coming to another dimension. He can just rip that paper out, throw your ass over there, and then bring you back to our dimension, and now you're somewhere else. Damn, how do you fight that? I mean, clearly you got to keep him busy. You got to keep him from snapping. That's the only way. All right, he has the watch, so he did mention that he didn't like to work overtime. So I'm not sure if that's just a him thing, or is this the alter ego version of him thing? Because he seems to be a little bit more cocky and confident versus the shy and, kind of like a fragile version of himself. And also I want to mention, so he technically created this dog hero, right? Gives him the hat, walks off. These guys are stuck in his dimension, and now since he set some rules, I guess they're just stuck in place on some Gojo stuff. And they're just graffiti in our dimension. So they're not dead, they're just stuck in time in a different dimension. And I don't think that means anything, but yeah. And it makes me wonder, like, they have a piece of art right here of X. I don't know if that means anything. But clearly, this man is everywhere. Tonight at 7 o'clock. I don't know who that chick it just transitioned to. Maybe it's nothing, but I don't know. No, in this show, it seemed like everything is something. Got E-Soul. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is on the side. We got CN. Okay. I hope you guys are appreciating this breakdown, because it's like, I really wanted to sit and dive down, because people talk about it, but it's like it's too brief, We need to sit down frame by frame and look at this crap, because it happens too fast. Can you imagine, like, real time dealing with that? You throw a punch, all of a sudden you're flipping and falling because now the rules change to the universe, and then all of a sudden you're falling out the sky, and all of a sudden you're on the ground again and back to normal. Like, that's hard. But as you can see, there are opportunities where he actually had the dodge. So before we start discussing a few more things, I just wanted to just show this, what I'm talking about right here. He had to snap him in, right? But he actually had the dodge, which was right when he came back. So he's dodging him in his universe. It seems like he's just toying with him here. I mean, let's just be real, because he can do all types of shit. But right here, this is the part where I'm talking. He actually had the dodge, because remember, in our world, this is his weakness. If you're gonna beat him, you have to blitz him. Like, so maybe somebody like E-Soul, maybe E-Soul might be the one, because if E-Soul is super fast he might be able to keep him from snapping, right? That's the only way. But he actually had to dodge this guy. So if you had super speed, you might be able to catch him. But look, he actually had to dodge. But you can argue maybe is he playing with him? I don't know. It looked like he actually had to dodge. He actually had to dodge these guys, and he made them punch each other. You know what I'm saying? So there are some holes here. I just think the fact that nobody understands how his powers work, clearly that's, you're not even gonna know what happened to you, right? So yeah. So now we know. We know there's two different dimensions occurring at the same time when he's normal. At any point in time, he can send you to that dimension and you'll be stuck if he doesn't go with you, right? It seems like if he could just send you there and you're stuck in between. Done, right? And then we also know that if you set certain rules, you can't go past that point. We also know there's a dimension where he can accelerate his speed, and there's a dimension where the speed goes against you, right? And we also know there's a dimension where he can teleport, and anything he touches seems that he can just reconstruct it to whatever it is he thinks about. So he's essentially God in this world here, this art world. He's God. Like, this is the only way I can put it. And he can teleport things. So, but it doesn't seem like he can alter matter like people. It doesn't seem like he can do that. Only objects. So that's probably why he can change the car to a sword, but he didn't just turn you into it or something. Man, I wonder, can he turn your hat into something, or maybe the clothes you wear into something? I mean, but who would want to do that, I guess? But it seems like, he can pretty much make a weapon out of anything. So it's very interesting. So now there is one thing I did wanted to mention. So we do know that at the end of that last episode, right? Spoiler if you haven't seen the last episode. I won't say too much. That'll probably spoil it. But if you don't want to get the last episode spoiled, then you might want to skip this part. But if not, then I'm gonna break it in. All right. So it makes me wonder: did X choose Lin because he knew he was going to be a legit hero? And did he teleport Nice on top of that roof because he knew Lin was there and what was going to happen with, I don't know, his mental state? Did he know he was going to kill himself? We don't know if X is petty. Okay, we don't know. He's X. But as we know, all of these heroes do have a dark side from what we're seeing here, right? Now, even though he's doing a lot of saving, we can't say he won't body you, okay? He clearly left these dudes in the ocean. He clearly left them in his own dimension. He clearly has been slicing their hands off. So it looks like he's not scared to get his hands dirty. So it makes me think, does he know that it's corrupt? And he's trying to get rid of certain corruption? Is that maybe why he went for Nice first? We don't know. I don't know. We got to wait for the story to go by. But I just find it very coincidental that he would teleport Nice on top of the roof right after he had his meltdown, right in front of Lin, when Lin was cursing him out that first episode because he was mad at Nice. And that literally pushed him over the edge, no pun intended. But that's what happened, right? So now it makes me wonder, no, he did commit suicide. I was going to say, it makes me wonder if he actually did commit suicide, or did something happen with his powers, maybe when he hopped off the roof, because he had to have hopped off the top layer onto the second layer. And then when he tried to hop off again, he dies. Did something happen with his powers, or did he just actually commit suicide just to simplify it, because we saw how much he failed, and then you know, it does kind of suck, you know, a freaking dog beat you in the top 10 and got ranked 8. That's embarrassing. I'm not even gonna lie. That's pretty embarrassing. Now, you know, I'll probably make a separate video kind of trying to link everything together because I don't want to milk it too much. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. And you know, I really appreciate you guys sitting here with me and going through this. It's been a long time since I've been in the video, so you know, since I've done a video, so you know, I really appreciate you guys being here. But come on, man, let me know what you think. Leave some comments. You know, if there's something that I missed that you notice, you know, maybe we can go over that. And if there's any other videos you want me to go over, it could be any anime, any game, anything that's cool. Just let me know, and then maybe I'll just start doing some more reaction videos. And then I'll put a little bit more time into, you know, doing more effects and everything. Or if you just like it like this, raw, straight to the point, and we kind of just dissect things, we could do that. Because I don't want to just you know, do some quick hit videos. You know, I want to dissect some stuff and maybe like enjoy some things sometimes here too. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and give me some recommendations and let me know if you missed anything. Peace.